Hi everyone, and welcome into today's episode of Awaken Radio. It is so nice to be here with you on the podcast today. I am here recording an episode because I woke up with a really clear, intuitive feeling to jump on the podcast and record an episode. I had an idea, a conversation, a topic drop in this morning just after I woke up. And I could really feel the conversation forming within me. And then I felt that familiar feeling of my intuition, which is that little spark of energy within me, that pull forward in my body that says, go and do this, go and record this episode. So I'm following that, I'm trusting that, I'm surrendering to that, even though that wasn't my plan this morning to record an episode. But this is how I live. This is how I run my business. I follow my intuition. I follow the feelings and the guidance that move through me. And I trust what I feel in my body. And I trust the energy that moves through me. And I surrender to it and I flow with it. And so that ties in perfectly to what we're going to talk about today in this episode, which is how to follow and trust your intuition. And this is something that I see so many women who I coach and who come into my programs really struggle with and have a difficult time with, is fully following their intuition, is actually being able to decipher what it feels like in their body and what is intuition or what is fear or what is logical thinking, and then actually being able to trust it and fully act on it. And so I want to talk to you about that in this episode today. I'm just going to offer you a couple of starting points to support you in building this relationship with your intuition and really trusting and following it. And I really want to just share some examples of what this looks like. Before I get into that, I also just want to let you know that enrollments are open for Divine Femme, my 3-month program for women, and doors close on Sunday, the 18th of September. So if you've been interested in working more deeply with me, in learning how to embody your feminine energy, deepen and heal your relationship with yourself, resolve some inner child wounds, and transform limiting patterns, limiting beliefs, things that are holding you back, so you can really step into your full feminine power and become magnetic and start to thrive in every area of your life, then come and join me in Divine Femme. Enrollments are open now. You can go to conniechapman.com/divinefemme to secure your spot. As I said, the doors close on the 18th, so you don't have much time if you're listening to this episode when I publish it. And we start as a group on Monday, the 19th of September, journeying for 12 powerful weeks together. You'll get a lot of support from me. You'll be part of a beautiful community, and This is a deep journey of self-transformation, of liberation, of power reclamation, and feminine embodiment. So if that resonates with you, jump on over and learn more about Divine Femme. And I would really encourage you to trust your intuition when deciding whether or not to join this program. And I say that with all of my programs. I say that if you wanting to work one-on-one with me, it's always about trusting that inner feeling, that inner knowing, that inner impulse. So many women that come into my program say, I just felt so drawn to it. As soon as I saw the sales page and I read information about it, I just felt this yes in my body. That's what it looks like to follow your intuition. And I've also heard things from women, as I went through the She is Liberated trainings that I led, I hear women, and I heard several women in the training say to me, Connie, Divine Femme sounds amazing. I feel so drawn to it. I'd really love to take part in this program. And then I hear the but, and the but is, but I've got this commitment coming up at this time of month, so I won't be fully available for the program, or but I've got this life circumstance happening, and so it's, I don't know if I can make the investment at this time, but I think I might just wait till next year's round instead. And if it's genuinely true for you to wait or to prioritize something else in this season of your life, I would say 100% follow it. But the challenge we have as women when we're following our intuition is we have a very sneaky little voice in our mind that's very, very good at talking us out of things and justifying things to us and coming up with logical and rational and practical reasons as to why we shouldn't trust and follow that inner feeling moving through us. And so I always say to women, if you happen to find yourself in one of my free trainings at this particular point in time because you felt drawn to that, if you happen to find yourself feeling really drawn to this round of Divine Femme, trust that. Trust why you're feeling drawn to it. Trust the part of you that's pulling you towards it. If you don't feel a resonance with it at all, that's a sign it's not for you at this time. And that's totally okay too. But I'm speaking to those people who you feel that pull, but your mind or fear is talking you out of it. And if that's happening, for example, around making an investment in a program, that's probably happening in other areas of your life as well. Because this is the biggest thing that stops us following our intuition. Your intuition is your truth moving through you. It is your inner truth. It is your inner guidance. It is your soul speaking to you. It is your higher self speaking to you. It is the truth of what the next step is that you're here to take, what you're here to create, what you're here to experience. Your intuition is calling you into expansion, into growth, into new possibilities. And so it's asking you to trust that. But the reason a lot of us don't trust that is because it takes us into the unknown. It takes us into the unknown. It takes us outside our comfort zone. And it activates often our fear and our logical thinking that says this doesn't make sense or this feels scary and uncomfortable. And so we abandon our intuition and we start listening to our mind and we stop following our truth. And this is this kind of push-pull we experience. We feel the pull forward of our intuition. I want you to think, have you ever felt this pull forward of this feeling that's like, do this, invest in that, sign up to that, move here, start that business. But then you feel the pullback of that voice in your mind that says, oh, I don't know if that's going to work out. That feels scary. I don't know if I'm capable of that. I can't afford that. I don't know how I'm going to make that happen. And so we pull back and we start to let our mind and fear rule us rather than our truth. And we start to live based on our limitations rather than the infinite possibility of our intuition. So that is one of the key things of following your intuition. She's going to take you into the unknown. You need to recognize that. She's going to take you somewhere you haven't been before. She's most likely going to ask you to take some type of risk. It may only be small, it may be big. Because she wants you growing and expanding. She doesn't want you staying in the same place. And in order to follow your intuition, you're going to have to work through what comes up in your mind and body in response to what she's asking you to do. And it's either going to be your old programming, beliefs about yourself and the world and how you think you should be and what you think you should be doing and what is safe, or it's going to be fear. It's going to be fear that gives you the what ifs and then makes you contract and pull back and prevents you from expanding. So that's the first thing. I want you to just start to notice, where are you feeling these impulses moving through your body that are pulling you forward, that are guiding you towards something, that are calling you into expansion, that are calling you to do something new. And you're either allowing logical thinking or your old programming or fear to pull you back. And it's also about, following your intuition is also about really being able to identify what intuition feels like to you. I want you to think back on times where you felt it. And I say felt it, I say feel, because it's actually something that moves through our body. You don't hear intuition in your mind. Sometimes you can receive it through your mental faculties in terms of it drops in as something that you hear. It drops in as a vision. I definitely receive it coming through my mind in that way. but it's not being created by my mind. It's not like my mind is coming up with it, or I'm coming up with that idea by analyzing and logically thinking about it for an hour. It just drops in. Have you ever had that feeling? Something just drops in. An idea, a thought, like a vision, a word, and you go, oh, whoa, what's that? And then you feel it in your body. Maybe you feel it as a pull. Maybe you feel it like something lights up inside of you. Something turns on, something ignites. You feel energies start to activate. And you're like, oh, this feels right. This feels light. I feel drawn to this. This feels exciting. An example of this for me, I mean, I've had so many examples. I've been working with my intuition literally since I was 20 years old. It's been guiding my decisions ever since then. It guided me out of Melbourne, where I grew up, to move to Sydney when I was 20 years old, didn't know a single person in Sydney, had never even been to Sydney. I think I'd been once for a couple of days. And it just pulled me and it said, you need to go study at Sydney Uni. And I was like, oh my gosh, completely uprooted my life, left my family, left my boyfriend at the time, didn't know anyone, and started to build this life in Sydney. And it was honestly the best decision I've ever made in my entire life. I'm so glad I trusted that. Was I scared? Yes. Did part of me try to talk me out of it? Yes. All of that. But I trusted my feeling. Similarly, this year, I've just invested in a mentoring program, a facilitator training actually, that costs thousands of dollars to do this program. And what literally happened was I came across this program, I read the sales page, and my body just turned on and I was like, I need to do this program. I had never worked with this woman before who's leading it, never done a free training with her before, never even consumed her content. I did a little skim through her Instagram just to be like, who's this person? And then I just clicked pay. I just signed up because I just knew, I just felt it. To have that level of trust in your intuition is so powerful for us as women. This is us trusting in our feminine. This is us trusting in our bodies. This is us learning how to live from feminine wisdom again. We have all been so disconnected from our feminine wisdom. We've been taught to live from our minds, analyze everything, rationalize everything, follow the well-trodden path, do what other people expect, go and get a career that makes sense. We are disconnected from our feminine wisdom that comes through our intuition and our body, and that speaks to us through the mystery. She doesn't make sense. She's not here to color within the lines. She's not here to play by the rules. She's not here to be what other people want and do what everyone else is doing. She's going to call you into the mystery, into the great unknown, and she's going to say, beautiful, trust me, and go for it. And then watch yourself transform along the way. Yeah. And so how deeply you trust your intuition is a direct reflection of how deeply you trust your feminine. This is about your relationship to your own feminine, because your intuition moves through your body. So being able to trust your intuition requires you to trust your body, to trust what you feel. And how many of us as women struggle to trust what we feel? Because over the years, we've been told to question that. We've been told to question our emotions and what we feel and the things that don't make sense. And we don't have that deep, trusting relationship that we need. An example of where I see this play out for women is how they manage their days. And they might be moving through their day, especially if they're running a business, and their body may say things like, I need rest, I need a break, I need a day to just be in nature, I need time off, I need you to push back this deadline because I can't show up for that. And so the body speaks, that's your truth speaking through your body. That's your feminine communicating to you. And then the mind says, oh no, but we don't have time for that. Oh no, but we've got this deadline of what we've got to put out. Oh no, but that doesn't make logical sense. Oh no, but, and then fear comes up. Oh no, but then I'm not going to get done what I need to get done. And then I'm going to feel lazy and unproductive. And all that mental chatter comes in and completely disconnects us from our body, disconnects us from our feminine wisdom, and disconnects us from our truth. And then we wonder why we feel out of alignment, because we've stopped following our inner truth. Yeah, so this is part of it, is can you begin to listen more deeply to your body's wisdom? Can you invite your body in to start to be your guide? Just like today, I woke up with a plan of what I wanted to do today. But then my body spoke, my intuition spoke. So I put that on pause and I surrendered and I said, okay, this is what we're going to do first thing in the morning. And that requires a lot of trust. And that trust doesn't just come overnight, that trust is built. You build that trust with yourself and your intuition by following it moment by moment and watching the outcome or the results that you get and noticing how it leaves you feeling. And the more that you trust it, and then you get a positive outcome, or then you notice you feel really good, or then it leads you to some magical synchronicity, or then something manifests or unfolds in your life. Or like me, then you find yourself doing this training program and you're like, that's one of the best decisions I ever made. Or I moved to Sydney, one of the best decisions I ever made. The more that you look back over the times that you followed your intuition and you find those positive pieces of evidence to prove to you that she is never going to lead you astray, that she's always going to guide you to what's right for you. And even if it's scary, uncomfortable, unfamiliar, triggering, challenging, all those things, you can trust her. You can walk through the unknown, not being able to see what's going to happen, knowing that you're being guided. You just have to follow what you're feeling moment by moment, and she's going to take you somewhere magical. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. Following your intuition is not easy. Following your intuition is not always the most enjoyable, pleasurable process. You might have to really work through some stuff that gets triggered, like your money fears, or your fears of losing people, or your fears of feeling out of control, or your fear of not knowing what's going to happen. You might need to work through that, or your fear of disappointing people, whatever it is. But all you need to do is be with that and alchemize that and stay present to that, but then keep following what is moving through you, the inner guidance. And this is one of the final things I want to say on this. Intuition speaks to you one moment at a time. She does not give you the whole plan. She does not give you the step-by-step entire process. The whole point of intuition is trust and faith and surrender. And the willingness to take that first step, even if you have no idea what's coming after that, even if you have no idea where she's taking you, even if you have no idea why you're doing it. And you have to take that first step before the next step appears. So many of us sit here hesitating and waiting. We feel where we're being pulled to go, but we're like, no, hang on, I need more steps. I need more information. I need to know what's going to happen. I need to know why I'm doing this. You do that and you abandon your truth. And you go back to living from that limitation and that fear. I want you to see it as following the breadcrumbs. You take that first step, and then the next step is shown, and then the next step is shown, and then the next step is shown. And this is why it is such a beautiful relationship to cultivate, because this brings us out of mind-based living. This brings us out of living in spaces of control. This brings us out of living from our masculine, and it calls us into such deep embodiment of our beautiful feminine energy, to live our life in flow now, to live guided by the flow of the moment, by the energy moving through in the moment, by the impulse moving through in the moment, by what you're receiving in the moment. And so intuition asks you to live in a surrendered state. If you wake up every single day and every minute of your day is planned, there is no room for your intuition to speak to you. She might speak to you. She might say, honey, you need to go for a walk this morning. Go down to the beach for an hour before you start your workday. That might come in and you might dismiss it immediately. I don't have time for that. I've got things I'm going to get done today. Yeah? So it's in the small moments that you can start to build this relationship with her. I would say that if you struggle to hear your intuition or trust it, don't start with trying to work on it with a really big decision. Like, should I stay in this relationship? Should I leave my job? Should I invest thousands of dollars in this program? That might be too too big. There might be too much fear and too much old programming that you're bumping up against, and you won't be able to hear your intuition because there's too much emotion in the way. You actually need to clear and process the emotion before you can hear the intuition. The intuition is always there, always there. The only reason you can't hear it is because there's all this stuff in the way. There's all your programming getting activated, or your old belief systems, or your fears, or your resistance, and it's clouding your inner world, and you can't hear your intuition because your intuition comes through from space, having inner space. That's why it drops in the first thing when you wake up. That's why it drops in when you're out on a walk, you're in the shower, or you're making dinner and you're not even thinking. She comes through in the space. Yeah, so it's difficult to really take intuitive leaps if you don't have much experience with this around big decisions. Start with the small decisions. Start with, how should I spend my morning? Start with, what should I work on today? What message should I share? What should I create? What should I have for lunch? And just begin asking your body, asking your inner wisdom, asking your inner truth. What should I say in this moment? What should I write in this email? Just begin inviting your intuition in. Yeah, that will start to strengthen the relationship, and start to listen to your body over your mind. Whenever you have to make a decision, tune into your body wisdom. Put your hands on your body, take a breath, notice how your body's responding. Notice what feels like a yes, what feels like a no in your body. Sit with both options. Which one does your body light up around, and which option makes your body contract? Which option feels scary but has expansion in it? Which option feels like you're just playing it safe? Yeah. The more that you work with this, the clearer this will become. So my loves, I hope you enjoyed this conversation. I didn't want this to be a super long one. I just wanted to come on and bring through what had dropped in for me this morning. That was what had come in this morning that I wanted to bring you. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you want to dive deeper, come and join me in Divine Femme. This is the one and only round of 2022, and doors close this Sunday the 18th, and then we start together on Monday the 19th. I'm really feeling intuitively that there's going to be things changing with Divine Femme. I can't tell you yet what they are, because when it comes to all my offerings, I'm very surrendered, and they're very much created by the feminine, and the feminine is always transforming and rebirthing. So she always moves through my programs and she rebirths them and changes them. So I do feel there'll be changes coming to this program. There's a chance it may not have as much live sessions moving forward. Potentially there might be changes to the structure. I'm currently birthing a graduate program for Divine Femme, an advanced practice program, and that's where I'm feeling a lot of my live energy is going to be going, where I'm going to be teaching mostly live content. So that may not happen as much in Divine Femme. I'm not sure. So that's why I'm saying, if you want to come through this round where you're getting 10 live masterclasses, 4 live group coaching calls, even if you don't watch them live, there's this incredible energy that comes through when we're really in this live experience. And if you feel drawn to this particular round, I would really encourage you to trust that. Trust your intuition, my love. So you can enroll at conniechapman.com/divinefemme. Link is in the show notes. Thank you so much for being tuned into this episode today, this beautiful, intuitive, flowy episode. I loved bringing this to you. And I look forward to talking to you on the podcast again next time.